Welcome in. You're listening to Medical Spa Insider, presented by the American Med Spa Association. We are happy to have you with us. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Tiersch sits down with Candace Noonan, Director of Education for DermaConcepts, for an in-depth discussion of how aesthetic professionals navigate economic challenges while still providing the best results for their patients and clients. And if you want to be prepared for any industry challenge, become an AmSpa member at americanmedspa.org/benefits.
Okay, welcome to the program, everybody. I am Alex Tiersch, and I am with the amazing, lovely, and talented Candace Noonan, live from Central Florida, I think. Ocala, is that what you said? Near Ocala? And yes. So I'm very excited to talk to Candace, who is with Environ DermaConcepts, who, for those of you who don't know, who've been living under a rock, Environ DermaConcepts was our very, very, very first vendor way back in like 2013 or 14 or something like that, when AmSpa was just getting started and we were looking for help getting the word out, and you guys were there, and it was really, really it's been incredible to see you grow, and you've been with us the entire time, so that's been really cool. I've known you've been, I think, with us the entire time too, Candace. I've known you for a good long time. You were just talking about your kid yeah, now your son's flying planes. Like, what's happened?
Literally flying. No, and back at you to be with you and watch you guys grow has been what a tremendous journey you guys have had.
It's been crazy. It really has. But it's also been a lot of fun, and you've been great partners. And obviously skincare is kind of what you all have done. You the skincare that you all distribute in America is from South Africa, right? That's where it's developed, and the one thing you all do very, very well, better than anybody really, is the educational aspect and explaining about it and kind of what it does. You've always been so good at that, and I'm just curious. Just first of all, how have you been? How are things going? I mean, this is such a weird, turbulent time in the industry, especially for groups that are importing and bringing things in from other countries. What's the latest? How have things been?
How are things feeling out in the field? I can tell you the sales reps are definitely feeling it, and it's not just the tariffs, it's the global kind of mood. Everybody's just feeling a little cautious. Everything is kind of people feel like they're buttoning down and tightening up, like they're pulling in that belt buckle, making things a little tighter, so it's an interesting conversation that I know we're going to have about what people are focusing on, and how us as companies have to shift the focus away from a singular thing to a big picture. All of a sudden, you can't just sell a singular thing. You have to sell a big picture. And I feel like that's the shift our sales reps have had to have in terms of just combating that overall conservative approach people seem to be having in the industry.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it's not just the industry. It's kind of everywhere. I mean, people really are taking a little bit of a drawback. You can kind of feel it. We felt it at our events. I mean, it's everyone's a little bit just uneasy. I don't know.
They're really thinking, is this worth it? Is this really worth it to me? It's like they're kind of breaking things down to make sure that, is this worth my time and money? Because I have to pay for a lot. I have to pay for a lot more things. Is this thing going to be worth it? And absolutely, whether it's travel for training. And as you mentioned, DermaConcepts is built on this foundation of education. And what we've tried to do is make it not so much just about the brand, but just generalized education, so that there is added value for somebody who's increasing their travel costs, taking time away from their businesses. If they come to us for education, it can't just be about the brand. So thank you for identifying that yes, we definitely do focus a lot more on bringing value to their their expense, our shared expense. If I'm going to fly out to come and train you and you're going to take time away from your business to come and listen to me train, I better make it good. And I feel like that's what we're able to do. And people are making sure that if they come to an event like your medical spa show, they know it's worth it.
Yeah. Now you've kind of described in kind of the larger picture. I'm curious from your reps that are in the field and just folks that you talk to when you're out traveling and training. How are the med spa owners and the providers? I mean, how are they describing kind of their sentiment right now? Because I'm always curious, 'cause it's not like the demand isn't there. There's still folks that are doing well. People aren't necessarily struggling, but it's also there's definitely something. I mean, what are they saying to you kind of specifically?
So what our business owners are seeing are literally a rising costs. And it's whether you're imported like we are or even domestic. Domestic, there's still shipping costs. And if they're importing ingredients and then packaging, there's price increases across the board, not just like us as a direct import from South Africa. But when costs rise, the instinct for many businesses is to discount or to be competitive on price. But in a results-driven medical aesthetics practice, that's probably the most dangerous move that they can make, because discounting obviously immediately erodes the perceived value. And then once you train that patient to associate price with value, it's very difficult to kind of train them back and shift the focus back to clinical efficacy. And I think that's what you're picking up in those businesses that are actually doing well. They're not focusing on product. Just let me sell you your moisturizer or let me sell you your serum. They are shifting that to a protocol-based system. So you're coming in for your Botox, your neurotoxins, you're coming in for these procedures. So you're already willing to spend on this outcome, this result. Now, if we shift that to an entire protocol, the clients don't just buy products. Now they're going to shift that idea to buying an outcome. So when you reframe that retail as part of more of a comprehensive skin health plan, the whole conversation changes. And I think that's where you picking up where they are still businesses that are doing so well, because it's no longer about a single SKU. And if an owner gets caught up in that single SKU, they're going to lose the whole value, because the value is the result that they're trying to achieve. So that's where bundling becomes powerful. You incorporate retail into either a treatment package, into that series, or into your membership. And it allows the business to control the narrative and create a more predictable revenue stream. And even more importantly, to the person who's spending the money, being able to predict the results. And that's why shifting and leaning on an algorithm or a strategy instead of results per dollar is the ones that are being successful. And that's what they're doing.
And I'd love to, and obviously you can tell me what you can with this, but like coming from kind of the top down, like with these things like tariffs, when they're implemented at the top scale, for an import, someone like your company that's importing, and then a med spa or a surgical practice that is not only buying your products, but they're also buying instruments, equipment, all those other things. I mean, all of these things are going up in prices. And you made an interesting point, like, and I've had this same reaction with our business and with like our events. It's like you don't want to raise prices and just dump everything on the consumer, your patients, because that's just like, it just doesn't seem right. But at the same time, it's like, you as a business, like, those costs are being paid by somebody, right? And they're going to have to be paid. And so it kind of all flows down. Are you finding like, are are patients, like on the patient level, are they asking about this stuff? Are med spas having to explain to patients kind of the whole process, like, look, here's what's happening? Or do we have to go into that level of it? Or is it just, do you raise prices, bundle? Like, how do you go about having that conversation?
So we obviously having the conversation with our accounts, but we have absorbed much of the tariffs. We've absorbed most of them without doing price increases. We've had a very small increase, and then the balance, we have re-strategized how we ship, how we do inventory, how we offer discounts and incentives. You know, it used to be at certain level, you get this percentage. Now it's at the next level. And our accounts seem to understand that we haven't just dumped a 30% or a 15% tariff onto your wholesale, and then you have to dump that onto the consumer. So as a distributor, we've absorbed most of that. But even so, even for a local, there's still an increase in jet fuel and those kind of prices. So I feel like the consumer will understand if there is an incremental increase on their skincare, because I think they're savvy enough to understand when they go to Publix and they buy their dozen eggs, which I don't have to buy. I've got chickens, by the way. When they buy their Publix eggs, it's no longer costing you $2. Now it's costing you $5 for the same amount of eggs. So I feel like the consumer, whether it's good or not good, we could discuss that, is kind of used to, I wouldn't say immune, but they're aware of rising costs around them. So for their skincare brand, for their procedures, for the stuff that they're used to paying $100 a unit, and now they're paying $120 a unit again. I'm an esthetician, not a mathematician. I feel like they're kind of used to it. And that's almost a sad thing, really. But I feel like the consumer understands inflation, and it's around us everywhere. So your skin care is not going to be immune.
Yeah. I think it's a good point, because everywhere else, the prices go up, right? But it's really difficult in aesthetics, medical aesthetics, to raise prices, because you have a relationship with these folks. You've treated them for a long time. It's harder. But you're right. If you go and buy whatever at whatever retail store, it's like prices are more expensive, and you don't question it. And if it's more expensive, you're not going to necessarily blame the retailer. You're going to be like, oh, prices are expensive, damn it, right? So it's
the difference in our industry, though, is that people equate. They're much more sensitive to the price in our industry, because I feel like there's probably almost a guilt to it, that it's, it's selfish to want to spend money on my skin health versus, not bitching about the cost of the eggs rising. But this is where us as an industry can step up, because it's not just a cost issue. It's a positioning moment, because as professional skincare, what we're really selling obviously, it's not a commodity, but we're selling a system that ultimately leads to a clinical outcome. And if you can place enough value, if you can identify what that client really wants and offer them a solution so specific to that need, it doesn't matter the pricing shift. I will certainly pay it. So the tariffs may shift the pricing structures, but they don't change skin physiology. Whether it costs $10 or $25, vitamin A still functions the same. Peptides still function the same. But I will pay more for my neurotoxin because I want that established outcome. The biology doesn't change. It's just the economics around it. And if you can place a value on that a consumer finds unmistakable, then they'll pay the increase.
Yeah. I thought what was interesting is how you mentioned that you've absorbed the cost increases by shifting some of the things that aren't direct cost increases, so that your clients aren't feeling it as a direct cost increase, which I think matters, right? I mean, that makes a difference. And med spas can do the same things. I mean, there's ways that they can, and I think this is kind of what you're getting at, is that, like, by putting more value into packages, by being creative. Now I guess my question is, you told me that, and I find that to be admirable on your side that you guys were able to do that. Is that something that med spas should be conveying to their patients? Like, hey, look what we're doing for you.
Think that's such a great idea because then it gives value. So just like our accounts, even though there was a price increase, when we shared with them that the price increase was only going to be this percentage and we're going to eat the rest of the tariffs by doing these things, I think it took them, instead of going, oh my God, a price increase, they were like, wow, only this much of a price increase. And their appreciation showed by continued support of us, even though we're more expensive now in comparison to somebody else, as an example. And I feel like if your business can do that and show your consumer, listen, you know that life's getting more expensive. I've had to increase prices, but I've only increased it a small amount in comparison to what I should have, but I've changed my business strategy. And this is where strong businesses will separate themselves, because operational discipline becomes critical when those margins are under pressure. And the first step would be auditing your inventory. Look for what's actually performing. What are the hero products? What are the top drivers of both results and revenue? And this is where you might have overextended with too many SKUs that aren't contributing meaningfully. So simply your offering can actually strengthen your business. It creates clarity for your team and your patients, and it allows you to focus on what truly works. And then the second piece is supplier relationships. And in times like this, consistency becomes more valuable than ever. And so choosing those cheap alternatives or now switching lines to avoid increased costs will create instability, not just in your business, and your patient's outcome, but their reliability on you. So I feel like sticking to this plan, showing transparency, and looking at your business from within to see how we can absorb some of those costs is going to give you a lot more admiration and loyalty from your clientele.
Yeah, I can see that too. And the last point you made about shifting away from brands and products that you may think are I'm not sure exactly what the word you said, but that makes sense to me too. Like, you don't want to change everything right in the middle of your you know, like exactly what you're doing, because that's going to just it's going to cause disruption. It's going to make you seem like you're like you're panicking almost, and that's almost worse, right? Is that the point?
That's the point of it. Show transparency, show what you're trying to do so that you don't have to put through such a big increase. And don't flip through skincare lines just because of pricing, because it values the outcome and it devalues the relationship. And if you have a long-term relationship, I mean, as you know, we've got a 97.5% retention rate of our accounts over a 5-year period. And that kind of relationship means something when an account owner can call Rob and say, Rob, I'm struggling. How can you help? And Rob's like, let's put our head together and let's do something. Let's create a podcast. Let's go into IG Live and let me get your sales rep. Let me get Candace to come in. That's a relationship worth having in hard times. Make sure you're not just a vendor, that you actually have a partnership like you would with somebody like Derma Concepts. And how I know all these answers because of how Rob conducts his business.
Yeah, I'm curious on how much you can share about this. Is up to you. What is the folks in South Africa who are, you know, helping develop the products? Like, how are they viewing this whole nonsense that we're going through? I mean, like, it's just, the whole thing is, you know, and again, I don't want to get into it's this isn't the platform for us to debate the specifics of it, because it is what it is. No, but it's just like
the outcome.
Yeah, it's like, it's the outcome. Like, they've got to deal with it too, right? So it's
yeah. So talk about the trickle down effect. There's a trickle up effect. Consumers complain to the business owner. Business owner complains to the distributor. Distributor complains to the manufacturer. Right. So there's a trickle up effect too. So I don't know all the details of it, but obviously I do know that Rob was in conversation with South Africa and obviously talking in the reverse. What can we do to help this? Where can you as a brand help? What can we do as a distributor? So there definitely was an uphill conversation. Ironically enough, I sat with Dr. Des Fernandez in Cape Town, South Africa in February, where I went to go to his Institute for Medical Needling, and he met me afterwards for a cup of tea. And we spoke about this, but he's very much a gentleman, and he all he said was, we're doing what we can to help our distributors, because it's not just us. I know the UK's got an import tariff now as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's tariffs across the board. And so, yes, I know that they're having the conversation with the distributors as well and seeing how they can help with that trickle down and the trickle up effect.
First of all, you just said very casually, "Oh, I had a cup of tea in Cape Town with Dr. Des Hernandez." Like, I mean, oh, ho hum, like just another day. Amazing.
Literally shaking while I was waiting to meet him, like I was going to see a celebrity. And mind you, it wouldn't even been the first time I've seen him, but he's celebrity status every time I see him. That man is just incredible.
Yeah, that's incredible. And just for folks who are, I want to make sure we kind of close the loop on that. For folks who are new to the podcast or to what we're doing, he's the kind of the inventor, the mad scientist, although he's not mad, obviously, behind the skincare products and Environ that you all are distributing. And Rob, who we've mentioned, is the owner of the distributor. So and just talk a little bit real quick so folks can get an update on what Environ is and why it's special and why you're so, because one of the things that I'm always so impressed by with your company is that nobody leaves your company. Everyone's been working there for 75 years or something like that. Everyone loves it. You're all so excited about it. What is special about it, and why are you so excited to always talk about it and be supportive?
I think my personal story with Environ is kind of the key to it. Well, one of the keys, and I know there's many to it, but I've literally been working with Derma Concepts and being an educator for Environ for 20 years. I literally joined just after Noah was born, and he's going to be 20. And I think not only how it changed my skin in terms of the melasma that I had, but working with Rob and Carol, and those are the two pillars that we kind of stand on. The fact that the product works, it has to, or else we wouldn't be around. And working with Rob and Carol as a distributorship, they really do put family first. And when you call them, they know you by name, they know about your family, they know about your aunties and uncles and your dogs, and they are just so sincere. And I think people really enjoy that. And yes, it's nice to have a product that really works. And basically, the product's based on the foundation of vitamin A. And Dr. Des was the pioneer of the use of a very specialized form of vitamin A, the retinol esters, which the industry had kind of poo-pooed that they weren't doing anything. But Des knew the science, and he built this company. 35 years Environ has been around this December. And the fundamental formulation of vitamin A, vitamin C, antioxidants, and peptides hasn't changed. Well, peptides are newer to the industry, but AC antioxidants has been in the formulation since inception. And the fact that that hasn't changed is absolutely foundational to the science that goes behind this brand. And he wrote this book long before people were speaking about certain things in skincare now. And the vision that this man has made and the product that he's made stands the test of time. And that's basically what it comes down to, is vitamin A science. And that's what works. I mean, almost.
We should all have a dog-eared copy of Vitamin A textbook on our desk that we read religiously. I didn't even know there was a whole book about vitamin A. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Dr. Des wrote it.
Yeah. Well, no, it's it's always fun to talk to anyone from your company, because you're always so passionate about not only the company but also the product and the ingredients to the product. It's I talked briefly with Rob when we were in Vegas, and the hearing about the tariffs hurting was disappointing, because it's like, I don't think that you all are the ones, and certainly not med spa providers are the ones that are meant to be punished by this. So it's kind of difficult to see. Like we're kind of caught in the middle of whatever this is. So it's unfortunate, but I think some of the tips and the things that you're suggesting, I think will work, and kind of as major kind of takeaway. I think having these ideas. Do you have like are there resources that you all kind of can provide besides just this podcast? I mean, like if folks want more information on what they can do specifically as far as bundling and things like that, where they can go and find more information.
That's a good suggestion and maybe something we can work on. But immediately, no. Make good notes about the podcast, but immediately no resources. But it's certainly something we can work on. I know Rob could probably write a really good chapter in a book about this and how he's dealt with it. And I think some of the ideas are very translatable to a smaller business. Like we keep on saying, that trickle down effect. South Africa's helped us. We've helped our accounts by doing certain things like doing our own inventory, making sure our own shipping costs and all that kind of stuff, packaging things well, getting rid of certain discounts, shifting discounts to a different area. I think all of those kind of things will definitely help. But at the end of the day, I feel like the tariffs may influence the cost, but they're not going to change the efficacy. And so if we drive that results-driven idea, and in that results-driven practice, efficacy is always going to be the most valuable currency. And so I think if the foundation is science and your strategy is systems and not trends, you'll be able to navigate shifts like this. I mean, just like we navigated 2020, we thought things were going to absolutely flop, and we came out of it stronger because we shifted things. Like from an educational point of view, we shifted to more online. So that cut costs there because now we don't have to travel as much and we can still get the value out of the education. So just like we had to shift in 2020 and we came out better and stronger, all this is going to mean is that we button up and tighten up those systems. We start trimming the fat and making sure that we consolidating and keeping the cash where it needs to be. And then you'll actually become more of a trusted person and business and supplier and distributor because of all this. And, it's better for the business because everything's more refined anyway. So this is probably a reason for you to do the kind of things that you've been meaning to do with your business forever. But now's the time to actually sit down and make sure those systems are in place.
For sure. Well said. Candace, I'm just pausing it for a quick sec. Is there, what else do you want to hit, if anything?
Oh, no, I think we've pretty much, I don't want to do too much brand, but we've done enough brand. We've done what you like, the tariff thingy. So if you feel like you have everything you need, I'm happy.
No, we're good. No, we're good to go. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
And if you want, by the way, I did kind of throw that at you, like, do any more resources? If you don't want that in there, like, oh, we can cut that out, or it's up to you.
It actually makes for a nice conduit to funny moments, and maybe they'll reach out and be like, hey, what else can you say? So I think
we should actually put something together. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let me just we'll just go back and you know what? I never hit pause, so all that's recorded too. But we'll scrub that out so we don't have to see it.
Did that. Got it.
Well, it was as always amazing to talk to you, Candace, and amazing to hear how you all are doing. And if folks want to hear more about Environ, because I know that people are going to want to learn more about the product and Dr. Des and everything you guys are working on, and vitamin A especially, they're going to want to order the vitamin A textbook. Where can they find out more about your company?
Dermaconcepts.com is a great place to start. Or here's a personal plug. follow me on IG and then direct message me, and then I can send you in the direction where you need to go and direct you. So it's Candice_dermaconcepts. I do some fun stuff on there, very much pertaining to the vitamin A journey and my journey with Environ in general. But if you don't want to make it too personal, just go to our dermaconcepts.com website, and that's where you'll have all the resources you need to reach out to us or do some more investigating or watch some videos. You can do some snooping around to see if this is a good fit. And considering vitamin A can be used by any skin type, we're a good fit for anybody. Just saying.
And everybody likes a good vitamin A journey. I mean, it's kind of the the sugar on top. So I appreciate it. All right, so good to talk to you. Thank you so much for the info. Great information.
Honestly, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And cut.
Thank you to our producer, Madeline Moeller, marketing content coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests and provides topics and talking points. Audio and video editing, voiceover, graphics, and platform management is provided by myself, Derek Hawk, digital marketing supervisor. Our themes are provided by Maka Music. Thank you for watching or listening to the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, visit americanmedspa.org. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by AmSpa. Views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance in the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. AmSpa provides this podcast a full service for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues. And as always, thank you for listening to the Medical Spa Insider. Remember, compliance is cool.